the new channel. Hashtag TNCNow.
The views, opinions, and insights expressed in the following shows are those of the host, producers, guests, and viewers. They do not necessarily reflect the position of the channel. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to the new channel. Our passion transforms a community channel that sees all things new. I am Jennifer Nuya, streaming from Cavite, Philippines. You're watching the Disruptors Hour on TNC. We are excited to have you join us, and we're eager to delve deeply into the dynamic and ever-evolving topics of leadership, change management, innovation, transformation, and of course, disruption. Whether you possess extensive experience as a leader, are a change agent, or simply someone who possesses passion for making a positive impact, we are confident that you will find our show to be enlightening, captivating, and most importantly, inspiring. Our show is thoughtfully crafted to assist you in enhancing your leadership abilities, confidently navigating change, and driving transformative innovation, and leveraging the power of disruption to uncover new avenues for success. Our well-versed key leaders will perform or provide valuable information, effective approaches, and successful methods that will help you in achieving success in your personal and professional pursuits. So with this, prior to delving into today's conversation with our guest, we would like to offer a brief reminder from our partner organization. We look forward to reconnecting with you shortly.
Scientists and policymakers around the world are well aware of humankind's current trajectory towards the devastation of its only and precious home, planet Earth. At unprecedented rates, living species are going extinct. Glaciers and ice caps are melting. Air pollution worsens. And we keep piling up plastics and trash in our oceans and rivers. It's easy to feel overwhelmed and discouraged by such a disheartening trend, a battle that greed, consumption, and unwavering ambition seems to be winning, leading all of us to an extinction-level event. Most efforts over the last 50 years to reverse climate change have failed. Governments at the national levels prioritize local politics and vote-winning initiatives. Companies are designed to exceed profit expectations in order to survive. International institutions are often bureaucratic and biased, and social media has often done more harm than good. The clock is ticking, and key universal indicators point to the need to substantially revert the trend in the next 7 years to avoid the point of no return. So how can we turn this ship around? We must wake up and come together in effective collaboration to jointly get out of the mess we've gotten ourselves into, for the many millions of lives at stake, for the benefit of us all. World System Solutions, WSS, is an NGO with a vision to unite, mobilize, and align humanity in common purpose to solve the climate crisis. WSS offers educational and climate change awareness workshops, guided by profound ethical and spiritual values, and a conviction that through consciously choosing to collaborate, we can reach our personal and collective potential, and synergistic cooperation to reverse the climate crisis and reach harmony amongst ourselves and with our planet. WSS intends to help humanity arrive at the collective agreements and aligned intentions necessary to attain global sustainability. We're building Phoenix, the first comprehensive technology platform to boost humanity's collective creative efforts to build a better world from the ashes of our past choices. Phoenix will radically accelerate global collaboration and innovation. It is designed and built with the guidance of ethics-based collective leadership, fully committed to serve all human beings equally and the planet as a whole. We're already developing Phoenix's first module, Climate Scale, aimed at mitigating greenhouse gas emissions by offering a one-stop shop for all carbon and methane credit projects through a platform that will reduce the risk of greenwashing and unify and supercharge the now fragmented efforts happening around the world. It will also facilitate access to the latest data and expertise, bringing together leaders, researchers, experts, projects, and resources to mitigate the greenhouse gases emissions challenge. We can change. We can do this together. Whether you're a youth activist, a committed politician, a generous philanthropist, a visionary transformational champion, an innovative project leader, or a sustainability expert, come and join the WSS team and be part of the solution the world needs today. For our planet and for the future of all living species and our very own children.
The world transformation process will affect all of us, and every voice is essential as we move the needle on climate change and environmental protection in the next 5 years. You are a vital piece of the puzzle. Our collaboration will be the thread that weaves together the fabric of our efforts into a harmony quilt for our planet. There are several ways to interact with the WSS team. So we're flashing on the screen some of the links that you can copy for later use or click on to find more about the World System Solutions and the work that we do. So on to the show. Today, I am so thrilled to welcome to the Disruptors Hour, Pedro Lopez Sela. Welcome to the show, Pedro.
Hi, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Can you please provide our viewers a brief background about yourself and the work that you do?
I was born and raised in Mexico. I've been living in different places like Canada, US, UK, Spain, etc. For the last 15, 20 years. And I have focused my career on solving big problems. I started as an entrepreneur when I was 16. I've been doing that for about 30 years. And the last 25, I've been supporting other entrepreneurs to develop technologies that can make a difference in the world.
Impressive. You seem to me to be an initiator, someone who would like to look for, as you've said, big problems and try to find ways to solve them.
Yeah, so I guess that since my childhood, I was always very uncomfortable with the status quo. And I loved learning about how things worked. I was very curious. And I had the blessing of being part of a family that enjoys knowledge and curiosity a lot. So that was basically my path. And ever since, I've been trying to understand how the world works and how we can make it better.
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of our viewers also relate with you. So can you please tell us more about the work that you do on FrissOn, about your company?
Sure. So I am now working at a venture capital firm called FrissOn Capital. And what we're doing there is unleashing the potential of Latin America. We work with deep tech entrepreneurs, people that are doing research in the lab to solve a big problem. And we're focused on mainly 3 verticals. We work on health, on climate change, and on infrastructure.
And based on your work with FrissOn Capital, what are the challenges that infrastructure are currently facing? Of course, because I'm asking this because we're still reeling from the after effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Exactly. So it actually depends a lot on the geography. If you go to places like Africa, there's a massive problem because of lack of proper infrastructure. But there are other places like, for example, the United States of America that seems that they do have the proper infrastructure. However, there's always room for improvement. There are a lot of startups working on technologies based on Internet of Things, for example, doing smart cities, a lot of stuff related to energy as well, or even advanced materials related to circular economy. We have in the portfolio companies from Brazil or Mexico that are creating MDF construction materials out of scrap of certain industries like sugarcane, for example, or the mining industry.
And how do startups can help with these issues on the infrastructure?
So our focus only is with startups that are developing frontier technology in that space, but it would not be the only case. We've worked in the past with startups, for example, that are doing platforms, which might not be as sophisticated technologically as creating sustainable concrete. However, it is always a challenge. And if you create, for example, a marketplace based on AI and blockchain to do logistics, one of the startups that we worked a few months ago, that can also solve a real life issue.
So you've mentioned blockchain, AI. Are there other disruptive technologies that are also helpful?
Definitely. So, and I love that question. For us, one of the great things about today is that we truly believe that we're living in one of the most exciting times in human history. Those technologies are called exponential technologies, and they are usually technologies that are duplicating their capacity in less than 12 months. So, with the startups that we work with, for example, we have companies that are working with synthetic biology, CRISPR and DNA, 3D printing of organs, of big metal surfaces, like for spaceships or planes. We also have people that are doing virtual reality, augmented reality, or mixed reality, applied to different things, from showrooms of real estate industry all the way to therapeutic capacities in health tech. There are more than 30 technologies that are considered exponential technologies that we are pretty sure that before the end of the decade are going to change the landscape completely.
Sounds exciting. So how do you address those people who are also, while we are excited with the many benefits that exponential technologies will bring us, how do you address the fears, also the concerns of other people, where exponential technologies are rapidly increasing, rapidly accelerating, and it seems that there needs to be some guardrails. However, the regulation and guardrails are not keeping with the pace.
That is always a problem. Definitely one of the challenges that we have as humanity is that technology moves forward a lot faster than regulation. But I'd say the first control that we usually suggest with the people that we work with is that they have very clear ethical boundaries about what they're doing and about the capacity of the technology. We need to understand that technology is only a tool. So it can be as good or as bad as the person that is behind it. So in that case, what I would say is that, and I don't know if your question was addressed specifically to that, but we've heard for the last, I don't know, 2 years approx, a lot of intense comments coming from a lot of fear, especially with AI. We're freaking out as humanity because we're going to be out of our job pretty soon, and then everything is going to become mayhem. What we believe is that, first of all, technology is not there yet. If you've tried some of the AI chatbots that are out there in the market, it's a lot of fun, but it's not going to challenge your job yet. Again, I don't know what's going to happen in 6 months or a year from now, but we're not there yet right now. On the other hand, if you're able to start understanding the technology and playing with the technology, That is going to give you a massive competitive advantage. It's going to enable you, it's going to empower you to do a lot more and with higher quality than what you're able to do right now. So first recommendation is be a bit curious and go play with the tools and learn how they work, and find ways in which you can automatize part of the things that you do, both professionally and personally on a daily basis. And then obviously, if you're talking about important ethical matters, moral philosophy, and that sort of thing applied to the technology, I guess the comment, more than being to the regular Joe, it would be to the regulators and people in parliaments, etc. You got to keep up the pace. Technology is not going to wait for you. So you better start understanding that quickly, making decisions that are good for the people that you work for, your constituency, and you need to do that quickly.
You're more optimistic than I am, Pedro.
I've heard that before, but you know, if you go back, there's one of the people that I've had the blessing of working with, Peter Diamandis. He's a fantastic person, probably the most optimistic person in the world. And the great thing about Peter is that he has documented everything related to optimism. He has 2 books that literally changed my life, Abundance and Bold, and many more, but those 2 in particular were really eye-opening to me. And he has documented how well we're doing as humanity. And of course, there's a long way to go. There are still plenty of challenges, but if you watch the big problems that we had 50, 100, 200 years ago, the world has shifted dramatically. So we have to understand that, so that we are not too pessimistic about what's happening right now. 50 years ago, it was a lot uglier. 200 years ago, it was awful.
That's very true. Probably if we were both born in the 15th or 16th century, probably we haven't lasted until 30 years or 40 years old. Right?
Exactly. I mean, just to give you an idea, I've been fascinated the last 5 years about longevity, for example. I know very little about health and the healthcare industry. I've only worked with some companies for a while, but I am not a medic. And the little that I've been studying, I was part of a conversation with 2 of my mentors, one very focused on technology, the other one very focused on nutrition and exercise. They've written many books about the topics, etc. But what I was telling my wife after the conversation, it was that it was so mind-blowing to me that they started discussing their daily routines so that they can improve their health. But what was actually mind-blowing is hearing a very normal conversation to them, where one of them said to the other that he was eating X and Y micronutrients and doing some sort of measurement of sleep, etc. And he said, I'm pretty sure. So right now, he's probably close to his 70s. So I'm pretty sure that if I keep up the pace and I'm very disciplined about this, hopefully I'll be able to live about 150 years. And this was not a guy bragging about. He was actually trying to share, what he's been doing. So the other guy answers that just shouldn't be, because I'm 65 right now. Biologically, I'm 41, and I'm doing kind of like the same thing that you're doing, but my life expectancy should not be lower than 180. I mean, just think about that. And this is 2023. 50 years ago, life expectancy was less than half of that. And now this is the present that we're living in. So for this reason, I can only be excited about what the future might show and might bring to us.
Yes, that's true. And I also imagine, even if you're already at 100 years old, you're still able to enjoy the many things that you have enjoyed in your prime.
Exactly.
Right? I don't want to live long, like reach 150 and 180 and just be bedridden or confined to a wheelchair. That's not the way to live.
Definitely.
All right. So thank you so much for sharing all these things, Pedro. We'll go for a short break. So dear viewers, please take this moment to reflect on what you have learned so far from Pedro and how you can integrate this knowledge in your personal and professional pursuits. We are excited to reconnect with you after this brief pause.
Are you aiming to gain admission to UP, Oceania, LaSalle, or UST? Partner with AHEAD, the leading and most awarded tutorial and review center in the country, and we'll get you to your dream school. Visit our website to know more. Are you aiming to gain admission to UP, Oceania, LaSalle, or UST? Partner with AHEAD, the leading and most awarded tutorial and review center in the country, and we'll get you to your dream school. Visit our website to know more.
The new channel is an online alternative new media platform of online shows for people on the go. We know you're busy, so we've made it easy for you to enjoy your own customized playlist of engaging, authentic, and original content. TNC is your passport to a world of Filipino talent, global influencers, cultural intelligence, and ingenuity. One of our most exciting shows is the Disruptors Hour, airing every Thursday, 10:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time, which covers everything from leadership, innovation, transformation, change management, and disruption, all curated with our viewers in mind. And the best part, you can watch our life changing show anytime, anywhere, live or on replay via Facebook or YouTube. Follow us on IG, listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Just search hashtag TNCNow. We're always looking for new partnerships and sponsorships. So if you're interested in working with us, please email now at thenewchannel.com or send us a DM. We're excited to see what we can achieve together. Before we went on a break, we were conversing with Pedro Lopez Sela, and he is the managing partner of FrissOn Capital, Latin America's deep tech fund, and team principal of Exo Builder, the world's most diverse global tech entrepreneurship ecosystem. He has good intuition, limitless work ethic, and the courage to take on challenges that most people would just be too afraid of. He has co founded 20 plus companies and trained 5,000 people in almost every sector in Africa, the Americas, Asia, Europe, and Oceania. He is also a recognized author on innovation, business, and entrepreneurship. He is also a coach and trainer in entrepreneurship and innovation for organizations such as USA NSF, UKRAENG, and WIPO. He has shared cohorts with Bob Dorf, Yves Pigneur, and Tamara Carleton, to name a few. As an international speaker, he has shared stages with Peter Diamandis, Salim Ismail, Jeff Hoffman, and Carlos Slim, among others. So let's call back on the show Pedro. Welcome back to the show, Pedro.
Thank you.
All right, so we would like to know more about the book that you have authored, Ebeli. Can you please tell us more? Can you please tell us about it?
Sure. And thank you for the opportunity. So I was given the honor to appear as the author of the book. But the true story about the book is that it started back in the late 90s as a group of entrepreneurs started sharing best practices and tools for creating their companies. We created a non-for-profit to support people in the engineering space, teaching them, educating them on business capabilities. And that quickly led to a process where it converted into a community of entrepreneurs supporting each other. Probably around 2003, there was a massive amount of information that we shared with each other in order to create a company, to scale a company, to find the proper funding, marketing, whatever the need the entrepreneur had at the moment. And we ended up systematizing that with some friends from important universities across the globe, people that were using those tools and methodologies live, etc. And we created this first thing that was coined the business model toolbox. The interesting thing about the process is that we kept on training entrepreneurs, training people that were doing corporate innovation, doing innovation in governments, etc. Basically, everybody that was interested in learning techniques and methodologies to change the status quo. And before we knew it, we had something interesting there. So about 2 years ago, we decided that even though we had a big community that had been already trained on that, it was time for us to share it with the world. And in a matter of a couple of months, back in 2020, we created a first manuscript, a draft of all the stuff that we had in a massive folder in the cloud. And we invited everyone in the community, and thousands of people participated, read the manuscript, gave feedback. And this is what is now called EVELI, Evidence-Based Entrepreneurship and Lean Innovation. Um, we're very proud that part of the process was created with the people that actually wrote the books on business. We were able to go back to the sources, especially people like Bob Dorf or Clayton Christensen or Vern Harnish, Alex Osterwalder, etc. And basically ask them if we understood what their message was in their own books and their tools, and if it made sense to add another book or another tool before or after their own methodology. And that is what is now called EBELI. It has been called specifically by Bob, who wrote this book of the Startup Owner's Manual, like the second volume of that. So we couldn't be prouder.
So this should be a textbook for startups in universities.
Definitely. I think that the beautiful thing about the EBELI book is that is a very actionable list of things that you have to do in order to create an innovation project. Salim, for example, Ismail himself called it a Lego manual for building ventures. And we think that the beauty of the document is that it was written with all types of people in mind. People that are very versed on business and have a lot of experience, people that have literally no clue on that and need to get things going. So it is very practical and easy to follow.
And congratulations, because this is one testament of the power of co-creation, right?
Exactly.
And yes,
I love that word, by the way, and a lot of people think it's very complicated to reach, but in my experience, I've been doing that for about 25 years, and it's the total opposite. People in general are very generous. If they share a purpose and they are excited about the specific thing that you're trying to do, everyone is going to pitch in, and it is about doing something good for someone or for the world. So it usually works. You just need the mechanisms and the channels, but aside from that, I think it's very relevant and very powerful.
I imagine it to be so. And you mentioned that you have trained 20,000 plus people in different sectors and different countries. And have this included also students in the universities or in the senior high school?
Yeah. So I would say it sounds like too much probably, or even a bit arrogant, but I've been blessed by being invited to a lot of cohorts all over the world. So I've trained people from the European and the American space agencies. I've worked with teenagers from Latin America. I've trained people in the agriculture sector in Africa. I've trained artisans in Mexico. And we've been using the same methodology, which, by the way, again, is very exciting to have the same 7 steps for the guy that is building the rockets to go to Mars, and train that same thing to the artisan that's doing craftsmanship in Peru, and see it work and get them excited and having something tangible at the end that actually works. It is very exciting.
And from your experience, how is this different from the usual entrepreneurship or business course that are being currently offered in universities?
What we've seen, and this is not all of them, but many of them, they lose a lot of time discussing concepts and philosophies related to theories and very conceptual stuff. And in our experience, entrepreneurship is very practical. It's
Mm-hmm.
about understanding the problem and then trying to see if you can figure out the solution for that, and then just build the thing and test it out there. Talk to your customer and see if it actually works.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the people that are training nowadays entrepreneurship are people that do not have real life experience as entrepreneurs. And in my opinion, that is one of the biggest problems that we have. Uh, Entrepreneurship is a very practical, even kind of lifestyle way of doing
Mm-hmm.
things. So if you are calling yourself a mentor, or if you're calling yourself a trainer, just because you read an article and actually what you know how to do is consulting, then it's very difficult for you to train other entrepreneurs. And it's going to be very little information that you can share with them aside from maybe data of some book that you read. But entrepreneurship is so much more than that.
Mm-hmm. I'm not I'm not familiar with the education system in Mexico, but here in the Philippines, we place premium on certification and or diplomas. So I was conversing before with one connection, and she said that for someone to teach a business or entrepreneurship course in a tertiary uh, in tertiary level, you have to have an MBA. And my question was, so what if that person didn't have MBA but had experience establishing a company? So it appears that that is not acceptable. So you still
Exactly.
have to have an MBA. And from my experience also working with multinationals in other countries, even if you didn't have, for example, you didn't have the bachelor's degree, but you have had experience, they will consider it as going forwards or going towards the bachelor's degree. So I'm not sure if that is the same case with Mexico or with US, where one of your companies is also headquartered.
It actually varies from country to country, and I would even say from institution to institution. But in general, my understanding is that the traditional formal education sector is very rigid in that sense, and they
Mm-hmm.
give a lot of value to credentials and to graduate courses and postgraduate courses. And I understand the value of that. I've been studying my whole life. I have a few PhDs and master degrees, etc. So I totally understand where it comes from. However, I also think that for some specific subjects, topics, areas of knowledge, you do need practical experience.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that we share a lot when we're training people, people that are certified as what we call Sherpas instead of mentors in the Ebeli methodology, is actually that you cannot be a Sherpa even if you know word by word the methodology if you haven't been there yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because half of the thing that you want to share or to coach about has to do with your personal experience. Same thing applies to the trainers. So I actually think that it is very relevant for education systems to take into account that professional experience implementing X or Y thing related to the subject that you're going to be educating on or imparting in. I think it's very, very relevant, but unfortunately, we don't see that very often.
Mm-hmm. And I feel also having real life experience in entrepreneurship makes you more empathetic with your students, right? With your mentees when they come to you with their issues, concerns, and they ask also your insights on possible future research on the subject that you're teaching.
I couldn't agree more. And we, by the way, see this very often, and it's a disgrace. We see a lot of people teaching entrepreneurship or innovation that are very arrogant. And
Ah,
usually the first thing that we feel is that they've have actually non real life experience, because if they had, they would be humble enough to understand that when you're becoming an entrepreneur or when you're launching a venture, the percentage of failure is massive. Uh,
yes,
I
agree.
mean, the numbers that we've seen across the board are, and this is just to share with you because I think it's very relevant. 99.7% of documented ideas fail, and 75% of invested startups fail.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been part of that track and of that sector of the world, then you probably understand that the probability of failing is so massive,
Mm-hmm.
that you should, put your head down, do the work, but also be very humble because
Mm-hmm.
likely you're gonna fail.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Life and business humbles you down.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that's the adage, right? The more that you know, the more that you learn that you don't know everything.
Exactly.
So I'm loving this conversation, Pedro. I feel that we can chat for 2 more hours and never run out of topics to discuss. However, before we close, is there anything that you would like to promote? Anything that we can look forward from you?
So I would invite everyone to follow and connect through social media. I'm very active there. I write around 3 articles every week related to different topics. Deep tech is one of the most important ones. Diversity and gender is also very close to my heart. There's a lot of stuff that I usually write, and I like to have conversations there. I think it's relevant. The other thing that I would invite people to is if you're thinking about doing some new project, either super sophisticated entrepreneurship or something very lifestyle and easygoing,
Mm-hmm.
look for the Ebeli book and reach out to your local community. We've been working in a very grassroots way with a lot of people that are leaders in their local communities. For example, Mac Comandante, one of the trailblazers that we know from Southeast Asia. And we've been working with Mac for a while now. So reach out to Mac and obviously reach out to us. And if we can help in any way, we'd be more than happy to support your journey, to mentor you, coach you, whatever you need. If your purpose aligns to ours of improving the world, then let's have a conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday morning with us, Pedro. And we look forward to finding more about your work. Brilliant.
Thank you, Jennifer. It was my pleasure.
Dear viewers, thank you for spending your Thursday morning with us. See you next Thursday, July 2023, 10:30 a.m. Philippine Standard Time. Have a good day of your good rest of your day or evening, wherever you are in the world. God bless everyone.